A situation we see a lot with new Amazon sellers is they tend to utilize their personal credit cards and personal bank accounts to start their business. In a lot of cases, it's just kind of a side hustle and they have no idea whether it's going to work or not. So they just start writing their regular personal accounts. Now, this obviously presents a problem for tax purposes, so that's what we're going to discuss today is how to solve that problem and what you should do moving forward. In the best case scenario, what you should be doing is you should be separating everything out into a separate business account for checking, and you also should have a business credit card account as well. Now, obviously, not every business can do that based on various reasons. There could be credit reasons for you to do this. It could be maybe you just started on personal and you just don't have the time to do it. There's all sorts of various reasons why you may not want to do that. So what we typically recommend in cases like this is to fully separate out your business expenditures from your personal expenditures on different cards if you can. It is okay to use a personal credit card for buying inventory and buying supplies, things like that. It's perfectly okay to do that. The key is that you don't want personal and business expenses on the exact same credit card. What that potentially could look like if you were in an audit, it would make it significantly more difficult to figure out what actually was a business purchase and what actually was a personal purchase. Not to mention, if you ever were to get sued, it could do that, what they like to call piercing the corporate veil, which then potentially puts all of your personal assets on the table in the case of getting sued or something like that, of a lawsuit. So we strongly would recommend making sure that everything is separated out, and the best way to handle that is to have a business credit card and business bank account. And there's all sorts of ones out there you can get. You know, there's these Amex ones you can get. There's Capital One. There's a ton of them out there. Chase. Basically every big bank has some sort of business cards. I'll strongly recommend going after those. All right. So now let's say, for example, you're a seller and you're like, well, I like your idea. It sounds great, but you know what? I've been running my business for 6 months and I put everything on personal cards. I've been doing my personal stuff. I've been doing my business stuff. I've been putting everything into my personal account. What do I do then? So, yeah, not an ideal situation. But the way you do handle that for tax purposes is your whole goal is just to figure out, all right, what is business and what is personal. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to utilize either us for a bookkeeping service. If you're not going to use a bookkeeping service and you're just going to kind of compile everything together yourself, then what you would do is you would utilize our business tax worksheet and you would list out all the business expenses in the spreadsheet. We have an entire instructional video that shows you how to use this spreadsheet. And of course, we'll link it here on this page here to have this specific worksheet. But what you would do is you would just put the business expenses in here and you basically ignore all your personal stuff. Even if it is in a business account, even if it is in a personal account, you're commingling everything, you would just put your business stuff on the spreadsheet, and that's how we calculate what we do for your tax purposes. So I would strongly recommend going through that process of separating out what your business ones are and your personal ones, and that's how we do that for tax purposes. And then as soon as possible, I would strongly recommend getting a business checking account and a business credit card, or again, kind of like the in-between is you still use your personal credit cards, but you just say, you know what, this one card I'm only going to use for personal stuff, and then all my other stuff is just business. And make sure you never put personal stuff on your business accounts, and to make sure you never use your personal card to put business stuff on. Again, these are personal cards. They're just designated in your mind that these are business and these are personal, even though they're all personal stuff. So that's usually your best way to kind of handle that in-between where you just don't have any business stuff yet and you're just kind of not there yet. That's how you would handle that situation. One other thing to note here is that if you do decide to move over from a personal checking account over to a business checking account and you want to do this on Amazon, I would strongly recommend waiting until the end of Q4 if you're trying to do this. And the reason why is because Amazon sometimes does suspend your account for a day or two while it's verifying the change. And you don't want that to happen during the busiest time of the year. So if you're already doing it within a specific year, and now we're into Q4, then I would strongly recommend just sticking with what you're doing until January and then make that change in January so that way everything's nice and smooth as far as the Amazon side of things. The last thing you want to do, like I said, is miss out on very, very high volume days. Now you could do it maybe like December 30th or something like that, where the volume's less, but definitely before Christmas. It's effectively anywhere from like November 1st till about December like 20th or 22nd. I wouldn't do it during any of that time span. But the rest of the year, probably perfectly fine. If you need to get it done, just get it done. That way you're not sitting on it and you have it fully taken care of. All right. If you have any further questions on this specific topic, please let us know. Thanks a lot.